He is a boxing icon, a senator, a global hero. But behind the glitz, the glamour, and the championship belts lies a story more jaw-dropping than any knockout he ever delivered. What if I told you that Manny Pacquiao's rise to greatness wasn't just paved with sweat and sacrifice, but with secrets so intense they were almost buried forever? This is not just another documentary. This is a deep dive into the facts about Manny Pacquiao that no one dares to talk about. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you may never look at the Pac-Man the same way again. Everyone knows Pacquiao came from poverty, but very few know the horrifying depths of it. Manny was so poor as a child that he often had to survive on a single banana a day. He dropped out of school, not out of rebellion, but because he could not afford paper or shoes. At one point, he lived in a cardboard shack with no electricity. But here's the kicker. To support his family, Manny would sell donuts and bread on the street while secretly training at night under flickering street lamps. He slept in a boxing gym, with rats crawling over him, hiding from authorities who were trying to send him back home because he was considered a vagrant minor. Manny's early training gloves were made of rags, and his punching bag, a sack filled with sand and rice. That is not a motivational story. That is a survival story. When Manny got the call to fight Lelo Ladwaba for the IBF Super Bantamweight title in 2001, it wasn't supposed to happen. It was a last-minute replacement, called just 2 weeks before the bout. The world didn't know his name. The champion had no time to prepare for him. But here's the shocking twist. Manny didn't even have proper gear for the fight. He borrowed shorts. He was practically unknown. Yet he destroyed Ledwaba in 6 rounds and captured his first world title in a new weight class. Title he wasn't supposed to win. Fight he was never meant to be in. From that moment, Pacquiao's name was carved into the history of upsets. There is a dark secret very few people know. Manny Pacquiao, been partially blind in one eye for most of his career. A detached retina from a sparring session early in his career was never properly treated. Doctors told him to stop. Instead, he fought legends like Barrera, Morales, and Marquez with limited vision in one eye. He once admitted in a rare interview that he had trouble seeing his opponent's punches from one side, but he learned to adapt by using his footwork and anticipating patterns. That means some of the most iconic fights in boxing history were won by a man who couldn't fully see the blows coming. Manny is not just a fighter in the ring, he's a certified military reservist. In fact, he holds the rank of Colonel, the Philippine Army Reserves, during times of national crisis. He has even participated in military drills. While the world saw a smiling champion was being trained to command troops in case of war, what's more shocking is that he did this while being an active world champion. One day, he was knocking out Ricky Hatton. The next, he was in full combat fatigues leading exercises in the jungle. Everyone remembers the brutal knockout he suffered at the hands of Juan Manuel Marquez in their 4th fight, but very few know just how close Manny was to dying that night. When Marquez landed the final blow in round 6, Pacquiao fell face first to the canvas. His breathing stopped for several seconds. Ringside doctors later admitted they were seconds away from attempting resuscitation. His wife Jinky screamed in horror from ringside, believing he was dead. Miraculously, he woke up. He later revealed that he had no memory of the knockout or the 2 hours after the fight. It was a near-death experience that changed him forever. But within a year, he was back in the ring, winning again. Manny's political life is no fairy tale. As a senator, he faced multiple assassination threats. Intelligence reports revealed that crime syndicates wanted him dead for pushing laws that affected their operations. During one campaign, authorities uncovered a plot to bomb his rally. Despite this, Manny refused to wear a bulletproof vest, walked among the crowd, shaking hands and handing out food. It was not bravery, it was defiance, he told reporters. If I die helping my people, so be it. Manny earned over $500 million in his boxing career. But what you may not know is that he nearly lost it all. He gave away a large portion of his earnings to the poor in the Philippines, literally handed out cash in the streets, funded thousands of surgeries, rebuilt homes, donated to churches, and covered hospital bills for total strangers. His generosity led to financial chaos. At one point, he was audited for over $75 million in unpaid taxes. His accounts were frozen. He had to borrow money to feed his family. In his early years, Manny struggled with gambling and womanizing. He was addicted to cockfighting, poker, and drinking. Behind his smiling public image was a man falling apart at the height of his addiction. Manny once lost $1 million in a single night, was constantly at odds with his wife, and even contemplated retirement because he felt spiritually broken. But here's the twist. Manny had a spiritual awakening. He turned to religion, became a born-again Christian, and abandoned his vices. That transformation separation did not just save his marriage, it revived his career. At the age of 14, Manny Pacquiao was too young to fight professionally. So what did he do? He faked his identity to enter the boxing world. Manny lied about his age and used someone else's name just to get a fight. This move was dangerous and could have ended his career before it started, but it paid off had he waited. The world might never have witnessed the legend, despite being extremely talented. Pacquiao was once booted off the national amateur boxing team not for poor performance, but for attitude problems and financial conflicts. He had to prove himself the hard way through local underground fights, surviving in unsafe conditions just to make ends meet. Most champions rise through elite training camps. Pacquiao climbed through chaos. During the 2015 mega fight against Floyd Mayweather, about that generated over $600 million, Manny Pacquiao entered the ring with a severely torn rotator cuff. He was denied a painkiller injection by the Nevada State Athletic Commission just before the fight. Most fighters would have withdrawn, but Manny chose to fight on, knowing millions were watching and that history was being written. The world blamed his loss on tactics, but the truth is, he was fighting with one arm. Who else in the history of sports can say they were serving as a sitting senator while also competing in world title fights? Manny Pacquiao did. His level of discipline bordered on the superhuman, and yet many in his country still doubted him, especially the elites who underestimated his capabilities because of his humble roots. Before becoming a global superstar, Pacquiao used to walk the streets looking for unfinished cups of coffee in fast food joints. He would drink leftover soda and eat food scraps to keep from starving. His life was so hard that sometimes he would go days without eating a real meal. This level of poverty would break most people, but Manny used it to fuel an unstoppable. In 2017, during a campaign trip, Pacquiao's private plane experienced engine failure shortly after takeoff. The pilots managed to land it safely, but according to eyewitnesses, it was nearly catastrophic. Manny remained calm the entire time, reportedly praying and accepting the possibility of death. The incident is almost never talked about. Manny Pacquiao's first professional fight earned him just 100 pesos, which is around $2 US. He took the brutal beating in the ring, not for glory, but to buy rice for his mother and siblings. He didn't care about pain, he cared about survival. That moment wasn't the start of a boxing career. It was a desperate cry for help from a starving teen trying to save his family. Before becoming iconic, the nickname Pac-Man was used to mock him in local gyms. It referred to his small size and relentless energy, like a video game character. Instead of being offended, he owned a tan now. It's one of the most feared names in boxing history. What was meant to ridicule him turned into a global brand.